ABC senior foreign correspondent Ian Pannell.
We shouldn't diminish the scale, the magnitude, the historic magnitude of what took place. This was the largest humanitarian airlift in human history. Obviously, mainly conducted by U.S. forces, but also many of the Allied forces as well. I mean, it was an incredible operation.
There are still between 100 and 200 Americans in the country and others who hold visas that would let them leave. Secretary of State Antony Blinken.
We will hold the Taliban to its pledge to let people freely depart Afghanistan. The Taliban is committed to let anyone with proper documents leave the country in a safe and orderly manner.
More than 1 million customers remain in the sweltering heat of southeast Louisiana without power after Hurricane Ida. The death toll is 5. ABC's Jim Ryan with more on one man still missing.
A 71-year-old man had been attacked by an alligator. The New Orleans Times-Picayune says that as floodwaters were rising, the man went down to the shed of his elevated home near the Southeast Louisiana Wildlife Refuge, and his wife heard a splash. She told deputies that she ran down to find her husband in the jaws of a large alligator. She went for help, but by the time she got back, the man and the alligator were gone. Jim Ryan, ABC News, New Orleans.
COVID cases continue rising, especially in areas where people are not vaccinated. Children cannot be vaccinated. And right now, there are a record number of them in hospitals. Mount Sinai Hospital's Dr. Imran Ali.
The medical community is concerned about the long-term effects for children, affecting their brains, their heart, and their lungs.
World Health Organization says the Delta variant is spreading so quickly, the European Union could see an additional 250,000 deaths by December 1st. You're listening to ABC News.
Do you check your Google search results regularly? You should. People often get their first impression of you or your business online. Negative comments on the internet can impact your life and your livelihood. Take control of your online reputation. Get your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com. It may reveal negative posts from an ex-employee, upset patient or client, news article, legal issue, or even exposed personal information right there in your Google search results. Uncover what's lurking on the internet about you with reputationdefender.com's patented scan and get your free reputation report card. Or for immediate assistance with your reputation, call 800-401-6681. Our cutting-edge technology helps make your Google search results look their best. Call 800-401-6681. That's 800-401-6681. 800-401-6681. Or take the free scan at reputationdefender.com.
After several delays, the trial of Elizabeth Holmes begins with jury selection today. She is facing fraud charges over the claims made by her now-defunct blood testing company, Theranos. A young lifeguard at the Jersey Shore killed. Several more people hurt after a lightning strike on the beach.
The mayor of Berkeley Township, New Jersey, called it a heartbreaking day. A young lifeguard was killed, 7 people injured after lightning struck a beach Monday afternoon in the Ocean County town. Authorities are looking into the situation. All they're saying at this point is that a line of severe storms was moving through the area at the time. By law, lifeguards must clear beaches in anticipation of dangerous weather conditions. 3 of the injured were also lifeguards. Daria Albinger, ABC News.
Andrew Cuomo may be New York's former governor, but taxpayers will likely still be on the hook for millions in legal bills. The AP says contracts show the state has agreed to pay up to $9.5 million to lawyers on both sides of the investigation into sexual harassment allegations against the former governor. That includes about $5 million for lawyers representing him. And there's no more leaded gasoline left in the world. The last country still using leaded gas, Algeria, ran out last month. According to the UN Environmental Program and estimates phasing out leaded gasoline has saved nearly $2.5 trillion a year in lower health costs and crime rates and has prevented more than 1 million premature deaths. This is ABC News.
Vaccines are not enough, and accurate thermometers are essential for everyone. COVID is once again a major concern, and fever is the key symptom for both the flu and COVID. An accurate thermometer, like the Exergen temporal scanner, is essential to detect fevers early and reliably. Studies have shown that non-contact thermometers are ineffective and therefore dangerous, as they create a false sense of security. Exergen is working with a single focus to ensure that everyone who needs an accurate thermometer can purchase one. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Sherry Preston, ABC News.
The reasons more and more people are coming to NC Tractor to do business are the selection of Massey Ferguson tractors, Bobcat zero-turn mowers, fantastic customer service, and the special Phil Sheehan seasonal discounts. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford is making dreams come true for folks who want the rest.
Today, we are going to see temperatures in the mid to upper 90s. A few scattered showers and thunderstorms will be possible, but we're going to get a lot of deep tropical moisture to move in, so you're going to feel the humidity today. With those highs in the mid to upper 90s, some spots, especially to the south, will feel like the triple digits. Overnight will fall into the low to mid 70s with highs in the low to upper 80s. Remnant rainfall from Ida will move in tomorrow. We have the potential of seeing some strong to severe thunderstorms. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
With cloudy skies here in Rutherford right now at 71 degrees. We are under a flash flood watch issued today until tomorrow. Flash flood watch for this entire area, western North Carolina, upstate South Carolina. Depending on how much we get off of Ida and how much rain we get, but expecting rain some this afternoon and tomorrow. So they've indicated a flash flood watch for this immediate area until that's all over with. But again, right now, 71 degrees. 6 minutes after 7, and now I have these death announcements. Vicki Alexander King, 70 of Ellenboro, passed away Sunday, August 29th at her residence. A funeral service will be held Wednesday, September 1st at Bible Tabernacle at 3 o'clock. The family will receive friends from 1 until 3, and burial will be in Cliffside Cemetery. Again, that's Vicki Alexander King. Leela Mae Fish, age 88 of Shelby, died Saturday, August 28 at Adrium Health in Cleveland. The funeral service will be held at 2:30 today in the Paget and King Chapel. Entombment will follow in the mausoleum at Cleveland Memorial Park in Shelby. Family will receive friends from 1:30 until the hour of service at the mortuary. The Paget and King mortuary is in charge of the arrangements for Leela Mae Fish. Vicki Ann Doggett, age 64, passed away August 24th at her home. A celebration of Vicki's life will be held at a later date by her family. She was laid to rest at Round Hill Baptist Church Cemetery in Union Mills. And Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Vicki Ann Doggett. Donna Osborne, age 67, of Willow Ridge Rehabilitation and Living Center, passed away Saturday, August 28th. The family would like to express their heartfelt gratitude to the staff of Sunnyside Retirement Home. Special thank you also goes out to the staff of Willow Ridge Rehabilitation. A service to celebrate Donna's life will be held by the family at a later date. And again, that is Donna Osborne. Frances Lovelace Fran Oakes, 86 of Golden Valley, died Sunday, August 29th at Grace Hospital in Morganton. The funeral will be conducted at 1 o'clock Wednesday, September the 1st, at Fairview Baptist Church. Burial will follow in the church cemetery. Visitation will be from 12 until 1 Wednesday in the church prior to the service. The family requests that attendees please wear masks. Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Service is serving the family of Frances Lovelace Fran Oates. Ray Crowder, age 81, of Rutherfordton, died Wednesday, August 25th at Mission Hospital, McDowell County in Marion. The family will receive friends from 5 until 6 p.m. Wednesday, September 1st at McMahon's Funeral Home. The memorial service will be 6 o'clock Wednesday, September 1st at McMahon's. And McMahon's Funeral Home is in charge of the arrangements for Ray Crowder. Tyler Martin, 31 of Lawndale, died Saturday, August 28th at Adrium Health in Shelby. The funeral will be conducted 1 o'clock Thursday, September 2nd at Washburn and Dorsey Funeral Home. The visitation will be from 4 until 6 Wednesday at Washburn and Dorsey Funeral Home for Tyler Martin. Francis Beatty, 87 of Sunshine, died Thursday, August 26th. Graveside service will be conducted at 11 o'clock a.m. Tuesday, September the 7th at Mount Harmony Baptist Church. Friends may visit Monday, September the 6th from 2 until 6 at Washburn and Dorsey Funeral Home to sign the register book and pay respects. Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Service serving the family of Francis Beatty of Sunshine. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. Complete information can be heard this morning at 11:35.
Morning edition. For most folks, getting out of an unused timeshare is a top priority. With the bill always around the corner, it's like rolling the dice. Lone Star Transfer has helped thousands of people just like you and me for over a decade. They'll get you out of your timeshare quickly, legally, and ethically, guaranteed. For a free consultation, please go to LoneStarTransfer.com or call 855-551-7066. 855-551-7066. On this Tuesday, even Hurricane Ida, as bad as it is, could not divert attention away from Afghanistan, which will haunt the USA and President Biden for a long time. Now, in my lifetime, there have been terrible decisions made in Washington. Perhaps the worst, Vietnam. About 60,000 Americans killed there, hundreds of thousands hurt. Vietnam tore the USA apart. If you lived through it, you know it. It was a war that never should have been fought the way it was fought. Next, under Jimmy Carter, came the Iranian hostage situation, and that led to President Carter's demise as the fanatical country of Iran humiliated America. And now, the terrible pullout from the terrorist state of Afghanistan. This, as I said, is not going to go away. And like Jimmy Carter, President Biden, in my opinion, will not survive this. His credibility is destroyed because he is the commander-in-chief. He is to blame. Now this. Investors, Bill O'Reilly here. Are you sitting on capital or wanting to diversify? The NRIA Real Estate Development Fund provides returns right now. They capitalize on strategic markets. They offer payouts of 10% annualized returns plus bonuses up to 21%. They are a 15-year industry leader who have seen it all. Start your due diligence at nria.net or call 800-800-1414. That's easy. 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
Good morning. Good morning. Pass it on.
Imagine a lady who wouldn't give up her seat on the bus. A TV host who wanted to be your neighbor. Or an inventor whose 10,000 failures didn't stop him. These vivid images all share the same caption: inspiration. These people just did their best, and they inspire us. Now, what will you do to inspire others? Inspiration is in you. From PassItOn.com.
WCAB, Rutherfordton.
Born in 1825, Elizabeth Ann Clifton had no schooling and suffered with bouts of epilepsy. At the age of 16, she married Alexander Carter. They became ranchers outside of Dallas. Elizabeth managed the ranch and ran a boarding house. Her husband and his father ran a freight company. In 1857, both her husband and his father were mysteriously killed. A little over a year later, Elizabeth married a Lieutenant Sprague. He disappeared 18 months later. Elizabeth continued with the boarding house and ranch, becoming one of the most prosperous people in the area. At the age of 36, Elizabeth married a third time, one of her ranch's cowboys. They were married a year and a half when he was murdered. Surviving 3 husbands was tough enough to bear, but the worst was yet to come. In 1864, when she was 39, her ranch was attacked by Comanche, during which Elizabeth's daughter and daughter's son were both killed. Elizabeth, her 13-year-old son, and 2 surviving granddaughters were taken captive. Elizabeth was sold to the Kiowa. One of her granddaughters froze to death during the winter of 1864. The other spent 9 months as a captive. The Comanche tattooed her arms and forehead before they released her. After spending 12 months in captivity, Elizabeth was rescued. And on August 27, 1866, at the age of 41, she headed home. Elizabeth reunited with her granddaughter. 3 years later, she married again and lived quietly until her death at age 57. Truly, it took a strong woman to survive in the Old West. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Put Jesse James Railroad Express on your lunch calendar. He has a menu chocked full of fresh cooked burgers, fresh salads, hot dogs made any way you like, taco salads, specialty burgers, sandwiches, french fries, or onion rings. Enjoy refreshing milkshakes, Coke floats, or a cone of hand-dipped ice cream. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 to 4, closed Wednesday and Sunday. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue, Rutherford. Call 828-447-4644. Mondays only. Hot dogs with mustard, chili, and onions for only $1.24 each. All aboard the Jesse James Railroad Express.
Now we've heard about the Wild Wild West, and let's turn our attention to the local home front and find out what's been going on in the world of crime fighting. And we turn our attention to Sheriff Chris Francis, who can give us that update. Sheriff, good morning.
Good morning, Jim. Hope you're doing well this morning.
I'm doing well as we close out August and welcome September. We're on the downhill side of the year now.
Getting closer to that December month, it sure is.
Let me be the first to wish you Merry Christmas.
You are the first. I'll be honest with you, Jim. That is the first. Right before fall, that's a record, I believe.
That's right. Tell us what's been going on.
Jim, the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office has responded to 165 calls for service. There have been 13 arrests processed at the county jail. Currently incarcerated, we have 183. Among those arrests, Mackenzie Sierra Maloney, 24-year-old female of Boston, was charged with failure to appear and received a $500 secure bond. Anthony Ray Melton Jr., 37-year-old male of Ridgecrest, North Carolina, was charged with 3 counts of failure to appear and received a $31,000 secure bond. Christopher Scott Hodge, 43-year-old male of Farsi, was charged with cyber-stalking, contributing to illegality of a minor, received a $500 secure bond. William Dale Evans, 46-year-old male of Repton, was charged with 3 counts of failure to appear. Probation violation, received a $9,000 secure bond. Michael Robert Harden, 23-year-old male of Florida City, was charged with failure to appear and received a $500 secure bond. Darian McKeel Brown, 20-year-old male of Florida City, was charged with assault by strangulation. We'll see a district court judge for bond. Robert Payne Davis, 31-year-old male of Florida City, was charged with failure to comply with the release order. Received a $10,000 secure bond. David Lamont Ledbetter, 36-year-old male of Lake Lure, was charged with assault on a female. We'll see a district court judge for bond today. Like our instance, we had a larceny on Old Henrietta Road in Forest City. A carry-on utility trailer valued at $1,000, displaying a tag of AH44752, was taken. And the same did have a trash can valued at $25 and 2 4x8 pieces of plywood on it as well. Had a breaking in and larceny on Hogan Road. There was a black Xbox, a white Xbox, and a Super Nintendo were taken in that incident. We had a juvenile offense between a mother and a 14-year-old son on Academy Street in Morrisboro. We did contact DJJ as well as DSS to assist us in that situation. We had obtained property for false pretense and fraud, Sycamore Drive in Lake Lure. Suspect used the victim's account information to make unauthorized withdrawals in the amount of $731. We had an attempted larceny on Poors Ford Road where someone attempted to cut off the victim's catalytic converter off their vehicle. Damage was around $500, even though they weren't successful in taking it completely off. We had a larceny of a tag on Willow Lakes Drive in Ruston. Same was 473BSM, North Carolina issue. We had a breaking into a vehicle and larceny of a battery on Hudlow Road in Union Mills. Did take a Napa Auto Parts battery and damaged some wiring on the harness whenever they took that out. We had a larceny on Brentwood Drive in Robeson. The victim saw a white four-door truck pull up with a slim white female, blonde-headed, step out and take mail from the mailbox. We had a Lordstown Hudlow Road in Forest City, a cargo craft 7 by 16 by 6 enclosed trailer valued at $4,000 was taken. Did have a flat screen TV, Samsung, and as well as a 65-inch LG TV. Some Marvel comic books and miscellaneous clothes were inside of that trailer that got missing. And Jim, that's what we have to report today.
Sure. Someone wanted me to ask you, is there any one month that's worse than other months of the 12 where there seems to be more crime than any other month?
I have to look into that. I can't think of anyone in particular. Unfortunately, December, having said that, December, thinking about it, is sometimes often a lot of crime with people doing a lot of shopping, leaving things in their cars and things like that. But let me look into that and look at some stats, and I'll try to answer that for Thursday.
Be interesting to find that out.
Yes, sir, most definitely.
Sure, if you have a wonderful day, thanks for being with us, and be safe out there.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. That's 21 minutes after 7.
Cheryl, have you been to the Homeworks Design Center inside Henson Building Materials in Forest City?
Oh, yes. Shana, David, and William are incredible at designing kitchen and bath cabinetry for my new she shed.
Your what?
And they have a full line of windows and doors on display in their 5,000 square foot showroom. And they'll install any ones you pick out for me.
Oh, you're too good to me.
I know. With selling and installing, it's basically one-stop shopping.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street, Forest City.
Building starts here.
Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City. Well, Kylie, what kind of phone calls have you been receiving over 911 Communications in the past 24 hours?
In the past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications has processed 509 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 74 for EMS, 22 for rescue, 165 for the Sheriff's Office, 50 for Forest City, 6 for Lake Lure, 57 for Rutherford, 58 for Spindale. Ellenburg responded to a structure fire, Baltic, Cherry Mountain, and Forest City assisted. STA responded to a motor vehicle accident. Spindale responded to a residential fire alarm. And Sandy Mush had a motor vehicle accident, and that's all we have.
Thank you very much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you, you too.
Bye. Imagine being surrounded by comfort. At Immaculate Heating and Air Conditioning, they offer ultimate home comfort by Coleman. They will install a Coleman high-efficiency heating and cooling system and handle any service and maintenance, all for one low monthly payment with zero out-of-pocket costs for 10 years. That's right, 10 years with no service or repair fees, no maintenance fees, no unexpected cost at all. Ultimate home comfort. It's more comfort all around. Contact Nathan Blackburn at 828-755-5788. That's 755-5788, or visit ImmaculateHeatingandAir.com. Authorities are looking for a runaway missing teenager. Savannah Dawn Hobbs, 17, left her foster home located on Bostic Sunshine Highway. She is believed to have traveled to Gaston County, where she is originally from, or to Stanley. Savannah may be in the company of her boyfriend, Tim Stevens of Gaston County. Savannah is described as a white female, 5 feet 2 inches tall, weighs about 80 pounds, with long blonde hair. If anyone has any information as to whereabouts of Savannah Dawn Hobbs, please contact Rutherford County 911 Communications Center at 287-2911 or Crime Stoppers at 828-286-TIPS. Here's Ruby Taylor now with a report from Danieltown SDO Fire District. Ruby, good morning.
Good morning.
What's on your report today?
Well, the fire department had one call, and it was to a vehicle accident. And on my birthday calendar, I got Bob Elliott and Caroline Hall having birthdays, and Mr. and Mrs. Abram Stroud is having an anniversary. And hope these people have a nice day today, and the signs are in arms and going to the breast tomorrow. Jim, that's all I got.
Thank you. You behave yourself over there, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Well, I need to. I got a yellow jacket nest yesterday.
Oh, no. How bad was it?
Well, it just got me on my feet, my legs.
Well, I've had that happen, so I know how painful that could be.
It ain't no fun.
No. You take care of it. I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you, and bye-bye.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
And we're going up to Fairfield Mountains Fire District and talk with Gary Wilson, see what's been going on. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning, Jim. How you doing?
Doing good. How are you doing?
Oh, doing fair.
Have you ever been stung by yellow jackets?
Yes, I have. Some things hurt.
Ruby Taylor was just saying she got stung yesterday with a bunch of yellow jackets on her foot. So I have too. I know how painful they can be.
Them things hurt you. They just keep on stinging too. They don't just sting you one time and leave. They bring in all the neighbors when they when they start stinging, but they'll cover you up.
I believe you're right.
Them things do hurt.
What do you recommend for that when that happens? You put anything particular on it?
That's the best thing to do if you get stung many times. Take you some Benadryl right quick and keep you from maybe having a bad reaction to it.
Yeah.
Got to watch for that. If you get too many stings, sometimes it can cause you some real problems. But they'll nail you and you don't even know they're there. You run over one time with a lawnmower.
Yeah.
Boy, that was the week before that they weren't there, but the next week they were. So
yeah, that's what happened to me too. I went over a nest of them. Boy, they flogged me good big time. That's been several years ago, but
yeah,
I ran
too.
Ran into the house. I was taking my clothes off as I was running into the house. I'm glad the neighbors weren't close by.
I carried a bunch of them in the door with me, I think. They were still flying around in the house, and my family was running out the door, and I was running in the door. But we're cloudy and overcast up here this morning, clouds starting to settle in. I guess we're going to get some of that rain off that hurricane later this afternoon, and hopefully no storms or bad storms or heavy rains or anything, but we'll see what we get. And they dropped the lake yesterday, started dropping it down some just to be on the safe side in case the rain comes in, so that worked real well last time we had some heavy rain, so hopefully we'll do the same this time. And no fire calls overnight, and I hope we can say that again tomorrow.
Yes, I hope so.
And that's about all we got up here, Jim.
Are they moving forward on getting that dam repaired up there at Lake Lure?
I haven't heard too much about it lately. I know there's been a lot of discussion about it and ways to get it done, and they've got a target date, I think, to get started on it. But as far as I know, I've not heard too much about it here lately.
It's going to be more expensive than $2.98, I know for sure.
I'll guarantee you, it won't get no cheaper next year either, probably.
No. All right, Gary, we do appreciate you being with us, and thanks for the report, and you have a safe day up there, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, talk to you then.
Thanks. Bye-bye. 7:28, and we have 71 degrees, cloudy skies here in Rutherfordton.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Here's Bob Hodge over at the Hudlow Fire District. He's got everything under control this morning. Bob, good morning.
Well, good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm good. Hope you are.
Well, I'm doing good up here so far this morning. Last day of the month.
Mm-hmm.
Start a new month tomorrow, so.
Well, probably a lot of car inspections running out today. Need to be check on those car inspections before they run completely out.
Oh, yeah, you got to get that done. Well, you have to get that done before you can get your tag now, so.
You're right.
Yeah, it's got to be turned in before you get your tag, so you need to get that done at least a couple of weeks before your tag runs out there, so, and everything. But, Jim, things going along good up here so far this morning, and with the fire department, we've answered one medical call, hadn't had any fire-related call, and I noticed this morning there where they was talking about the batteries getting stolen out of some of them vehicles up here where they're working on the gas lines.
Yep.
But the worst part, they said that they didn't, just take batteries out. They cut the wires in two. You had to put in new wires there.
Oh, goodness.
That made it worse, so. But people will do about anything nowadays, and they'll work harder trying to steal something if it's out here and get a job and work.
You're absolutely right. It sure would help the economy if they'd go to work.
That's right. Well, Jim, I want to say happy birthday to Amanda Mabrier this morning, and that's about it. Maybe things will be quiet today, and maybe won't get too much rain out of that storm. Looks like the mountains might get more than us down here, so okay, it's going a little more west of us. So
yep.
But maybe it won't get too bad. They already got enough rain up that way. So
well, they do, don't they? I hope things will level off up there. They don't get any more till they get dried out.
Well, they've got to get dried out up there yet and everything, but maybe it won't hurt them too bad. Well, Jim, that's about it. You take care, and you have a good day.
Thanks, Bob. Hope you and Aberdeen have a great day as well. I will check back in with you next time.
All right, bye-bye.
And we'll keep you posted on the weather changes. We are under a flood watch, flash flood watch until tomorrow here in the western North Carolina and upstate South Carolina, too. Any changes in that, we'll certainly keep you posted, so stay tuned right here. I know many of you have weather apps on your phone, but if it's constant changes, we get those updates here as well. And if you're riding in your automobile or working in your workshop or wherever you are, we can keep you updated on any weather change. So be sure to stay with us at 100.9 FM or 590 AM. And we hope it's not going to be as bad as they are predicting it. Maybe just a little shower of rain and pass on through. Let's check in now over in the Cherry Mountain Fire District. And Sue Price, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Jim. Hope you are.
I'm doing good. Things nice and pretty over in Cherry Mountain?
Oh, yeah. It's looking good over here. I guess we're just waiting on that rain now. And I guess we'll be getting some later today, maybe. That was kind of bad down in New Orleans, and we just keep those folks in prayer.
Yeah, we have disasters all over the place. Down there, we keep our military updated and military in prayers as well, and all the flooding and all the folks who are sick with COVID and all the fires. It's happening all around us.
Just a terrible time. Well, let's see. I didn't have any calls from the fire department. I don't have but one birthday, and that's on the service calendar for Linda Michael. So I hope Linda's going to have a good day today. And we hope anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day on their special day. Don't have any calls from any of the churches for announcements. It's just a quiet time. But we're looking forward to better days ahead, I think.
I believe so.
Yeah. And I guess that's about all I have this morning. There was just nothing much going on over this way, and we'll hope you'll have a good day today.
Thanks, Sue. You have a good day and get rested up, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. It's 7:34 this weekend. This Friday night, it'll be Friday Night Football, and our game of the week is Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy at the Community School of Davidson. That's a 7 o'clock countdown. At 7:30 kickoff. If all goes well, that's the game of the week. Also, this is the weekend that Tar Heels kick off. They'll have their game on I believe that's, when is that game? Don't see it on the schedule here, but I believe they start this week as well. The Coach Mac Brown show with UNC football show, first show of the UNC season, and that's coming up Monday, each Monday night, 7 until 8 o'clock. He'll keep us posted on how he feels about the team this year in Tar Heel football. I think the Tar Heel football is going to be a different schedule than usual. Usually they're on Saturday afternoons. I think they're moving them to a different time frame, and we'll firm you up on that. And Braves, of course, continue to play. Let's see what happened last night. Did they Yankees beat the Braves 5-1 last night, and they will be at it again tonight. And too late, no game tonight. Too far away, so we go to bed too early for that one. But we have time this morning to go over to Bostic to the Drop-In Family Mart, and Jessica has time to talk to us this morning. Jessica, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Glad to get you back on the radio.
Yes, me too. Everybody come on down to the Drop-In Family Market this morning. I got breakfast cooked. We got bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits, sausage biscuits, gravy biscuits. I can make you a burrito, a breakfast burrito, sausage, egg, and cheese burrito. Some people get chicken, egg, and cheese burritos. So everybody come down and see us this morning. We will have our truck in the morning, fresh produce, milk, your necessity needs we should have. Just remember we do have a meat department at the drop-in. We have hamburgers. We have stewed beef, any kind of steak. We also have salmon that is $10.49. I think it's $10.49 a pound. So come on down and get you some if you want to cook on the grill. I know it's supposed to be rainy, but maybe this weekend come and see us. Also keep in mind all drop-ins are hiring deli and cashiers. You do not have to have experience. We can train you. A lot of people ask about the pay. Pay is based on experience. So if you're looking for a job, we'll be willing to give you a chance, and maybe you'll become a drop-in team for us. Our hours are still from 6 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. Saturday is 7 a.m. till 7 a.m. till 7:30 p.m. and then Sunday from 11 to 6. And we do apologize about us closing early, but due to staffing, it's kind of hard. So everybody just keep that in mind, and we look forward to seeing you.
Well, you're maintaining it pretty good considering some places have to close down altogether because they don't have staff.
Yes, sir. I actually worked by myself all morning long yesterday morning. I didn't know if I was going to survive it, but I did.
Well,
I did. It was very, very busy.
You're a dedicated employee.
Well, thank you. I try. But it was very busy in here, but and just bear with us if for some reason you come in and you have to stand and wait. Just bear with us, but I promise you it'll be worth the wait.
I guarantee you. Listen, I appreciate your dedication to your job. Appreciate you being with us, and we hope folks will go by and show you their appreciation.
Well, thank you. I do really appreciate it.
Look forward to talking to you again on Thursday.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That's Jessica over at the Drop-In Family Mart there in Boston, where they do a great job in spite of the fact they are shorthanded like so many other places. And once the money stops coming in from the government, I think maybe folks will start grabbing these jobs. I sure hope they do, because good businesses are suffering because they don't have staff. Some of them having to close. Some of them having to open later than normal. Some of them having to not open at all. And it's tough on the owners of the businesses and the employers to not be able to be there for you, and they want to be able to serve you, and they can't because they don't have the personnel to do it. And personnel's out there, they just not getting to those jobs. So let's get off the couch and out of the car and go grab those jobs, folks. It's time to go back to work. Let's see where we're going next. I believe we're going up to Shingle Hollow, and Tina White should be on the phone. Maybe not. I'll be back with whoever's on the phone in just a moment. To win in sports, you must adjust your strategy as the game changes. The same is true of investments. Why not let Andrew Tisdale, your Edward Jones financial advisor, help you create a game plan for financial success? Call 828-287-9197 and get started today. That's Andrew Tisdale at Edward Jones Financial Advisor, 828-287-9197. All right, 7:40 now. We do have Tina White on the phone from the Shingle Hollow Fire District to tell us what's going on. How you doing, Tina?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Fantastic. Well, it's a fantastic morning up here in Shingle Hollow. It's 71 degrees. It's humid, waiting on the rain to come in. Both fire departments were all quiet the past 24 hours, so we're thankful for that. Birthday calendars. Piney Knob has Stephanie Fear and Jerry Boone, so I hope they have a great day. Nothing on Pleasant Grove. On my personal calendar, I have Elizabeth Hudson, Jennifer Jackson, and Sandy Bumgarner. I hope all those have a great birthday, too. Piney Knob Baptist Church wants to invite everyone out next Sunday on September 5th at 6 p.m. to hear the Dixie Echoes. They're going to be doing the evening service. So everyone's invited to that. And I have empathy for Miss Ruby because those Yellow Jackets are terrible.
You said that right. So you've been afflicted by them as well, huh?
Yes. When I was a little girl at church, we were having an ice cream social. Everyone was outside running around, and the ladies had their ice cream, churns churning, and the men were talking, and next thing I know, I get on the bake, and I think we were playing tag, barefooted, in shorts, and I get in the Yellow Jackets next.
Oh, boy.
So I start screaming. My dad comes and picks me up and starts carrying me away, and all the men in the church that had tobacco, were spitting and putting tobacco juice on the Yellow Jackets. Now, I don't know which one was most traumatic, the Yellow Jackets or the men spitting on me.
I've heard tobacco juice is good for it.
I think it actually did take the sting away. It was.
I didn't happen to have any tobacco juice on me when I got stung, but I've heard tobacco juice works.
I think they were actually taking cigarettes and they're chewing tobacco and dabbing it on there, but it did work, and I survived, and Dad put a Coca-Cola bottle over top of that, went back and killed that Yellow Jacket nest, got rid of it that night. But we're bad to have nests around here.
Yep.
And we watch where they're swarming low.
We'll have to really be careful, particularly walking outdoors barefooted.
Yeah. Well, that's my Yellow Jacket story for today.
Well, I hope you have a great day up there and stay out of the Yellow Jackets, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, everybody stay safe and be blessed.
See you, Tina.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That's the Shingle Hollow reporter, Tina White. 7:43, we're going up to Union Mills next.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
All right, we're heading up toward the Union Mills now. That's where we'll find the Kelly report, top of the hill up there. And Brenda Kelly is on the phone, I believe. I believe she's somewhere out there, about. One ring-a-ding, two ring-a-dingies, three ring-a-dingies, and there she is. Brenda Kelly on the phone right now. Good morning.
Good morning, Jim Bishop, on this terrific Tuesday. How are you?
I am great. You feeling good?
I'm feeling mighty fine.
Good. No yellow jacket singing for you.
No, I haven't been in a yellow jacket's nest in a long time, but I can remember when I was little, we always went barefooted. We was forever getting stung.
Yeah.
Step on a bee or whatever. But I got rid of a big old wasp nest on the back porch yesterday. I went outside and I just happened to look up on the roof iron on one of the rafters. It was just covered, and I didn't have no spray, but let me tell you, I got some, brought it home, and got rid of them.
What'd you get?
I don't know, wasp and hornet spray or something.
I'll tell you what is good for that as well. If you can keep a can of WD-40 spray handy.
Well, I had WD-40 spray.
Spray that on those, it'll wipe them right out.
Really? Well,
Yep.
Gee, that's our tip for today, isn't it?
WD-40. I didn't know that for some time back. I was at a place, and there was a wasp nest up in the corner, and I said a motel. I sat out on the balcony, and I told the guy, and he came up and brought a can of WD-40 and sprayed on it and killed them, wiped them out. I said, I didn't know that. He said, oh, yeah, the best thing in the world for wasps is WD-40.
Well, and see, I had that, but I didn't have wasp and hornet spray, but I got a can now.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
Everybody should have a can of WD-40 and some duct tape.
Well, now, I've got duct tape and WD-40 and wasp and hornet spray. Well, let's see. I've got 68 degrees on the front porch this morning. I don't have any birthdays or anniversaries. And in ways of announcement, Possum Creek will be at the Union Mills Learning Center on September the 3rd. Music starts at 7 p.m., and they have a meal available. It begins at 6 p.m., and the cost of the meal is $5. And so far, that's all I know of going on up here. I'm going to ask you a question. If you can't answer it, that's fine. You can say, well, I don't know or something. But doesn't our sheriff go to Florence Baptist Church?
No, he doesn't. He goes up to Pleasant Hill, I believe.
Oh, well, I don't know why. I thought he went to Florence Baptist Church. I've always thought that. Somebody told me that sometime past.
No, I think it's Pleasant Hill. That's where he goes. He and a lot of other friends I know have go up there. It's a good church. They're doing a lot of good stuff up there.
Well, that's good. That was just on my mind, and I thought, well, I'll ask Jim. He should know.
Well, we'd love to have him at our church, but I think he's happy over there.
Yeah, well, that's good.
We invite anybody to come to Florence. Anybody that'd like to come, we welcome you.
That's right. Or if you don't want to go to Florence, who was it used to say that? Tommy Tisdale, pick your church and be there on Sunday morning. Was that Tommy that said that?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, he said, pick your church and be there on Sunday morning.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, but I don't know of anything else going on, so I guess you better go check on Luther Sweet Thing Gilligan, see if Ellenberg's still all right.
You have a wonderful day.
Catch you later.
Thanks. Bye-bye. And we'll go to Ellenboro right after we do this.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush, brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Love to support these locally owned businesses like that's one, RS Speedy Lube. Go locally and shop locally as often as you can and support our local economy. Let's head over to Ellenboro now. Mr. Luther Gilligan, top of the day to you, sir.
Yes, Daddy, you, mate.
Hope you're doing well.
Having a good time down here. Hey, I'm doing great. Having a good time.
Good.
Drinking coffee, waiting on the sun to come up.
Well, I don't know.
We may have to wait a while today. I don't know.
I was going to say, you might need to go in the house somewhere because you're so bright, they call you son.
That's right. Well, when I go out, everything glows anyway. But it's quiet there this morning. That's going to see the fire department. They're quiet all day. Don't have anything report from them this morning. Everything going good with them. The one we have birthday today, Miss Selma Brooks, she's having one, and Miss Louise McGinnis, she's having one, and also Keith Lowry is having one, and Robert Wells over in Washburn community, he's having a birthday today. so we hope all these people have a great day and enjoy their day. Jim, nothing else happening. You have a great day up there. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, Luther. Keep it up. Good work over there, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, take care.
All right, bye-bye. That's Luther from Ellenboro, and it's time for birthdays and anniversaries for this last day of August, August 31. And if you're celebrating a birthday, please call us now and let us know that, and we'll be happy to celebrate with you and give you a big shout-out this morning as we close out this month of birthdays, starting all over tomorrow. You know, a lot of folks are recognizing that, I don't know, if you took a variety, it depends, I guess, who you talk to about what's your favorite food. A lot of kids would say pizza, pizza, pizza. A lot of adults do that as well. If pizza is one of your favorite go-to foods, if you have not tried Granny B's Pizza Combo, then you've missed the real flavor. Granny B's Pizza Combo. You can choose from 13 different combinations. What's your favorite? Order your pizza from Granny B's Tuesday through Saturday from 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. at 286-9012. That's 286-9012. You'll never go back to the others once you've had a Granny B's Combo Pizza. It's delicious. If you'll call ahead, they can have it ready for you. They open Tuesday through Saturday. And again, here's the phone number, 286-9012, West Main Street in Spindale. And when you want to look your best with your clothes pressed, clean and pressed and looking good, drop them off at Folks Cleaners. They're there every day now, but they have limited hours now because of lack of staff. But if you drop your clothes off, you can get them back in a couple of days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, drop them off on today. You probably get them back. I'm not sure, but they drop them off on Monday, you get back on Wednesday. But they really do a professional job. So get your uniforms, your work clothes, whatever you like to wear that looks neat, let them do it for you. Folks Cleaners there in the Rockwood Plaza. All right, 7:51. It's time for the birthday song. Hit it.
Happy birthday.
Nobody's celebrating a birthday today on this last day of August, but maybe when September rolls around, there'll be birthdays and anniversaries to celebrate. Coming up in just a moment, Keys to Confident Living. Top of the hour, Andrew Tisdale due to be in the Blue Room to talk about making sense of our finances. 8:30 this morning, we have a special guest in the Blue Room with me. Hang around, find out what that's all about on the Morning Wake Up Call, WCAB.
You hear the story quoted in the Illustrator about the Cleveland Heights woman who lost her purse in a shopping center. A young man found the purse and returned it to her. After checking through the contents, she said, "That's funny. Before I lost my bag, there was a $20 bill in it. Now I find 2 5s and 10 $1 bills." "That's right, lady," agreed the honest lad. "The last time I found a lady's purse, she didn't have any change for a reward." We applaud the young man's honesty, even though we may frown on his approach to get a payment. Honesty is a virtue that needs to be developed in all of us. Honesty tells a lot about a person's character and is also one of the foundational stones of a successful society. We need to instruct children from their earliest years that truthfulness is a precious commodity that needs to be guarded at all cost. We have something to build on as long as we can believe the word of another. Dishonesty mars interpersonal relationships and causes people to lose confidence in business. It is frustrating to call an office and to be told that someone is not in when you know they are, or that they never received the material while all the time it is sitting on their desk. You would have far more respect for the company and the individual if they just told you the truth. You begin to question if you can believe anything such a person says. The writer of the Proverbs commends honesty when he says, "Honest scales and balances are from the Lord," and again by adding, "Kings take pleasure in honest lips." They value a man who speaks the truth. Our society longs for people of truthfulness. This is Bill Hostler with today's key to confident living.
Imagine a lady who wouldn't give up her seat on the bus, a TV host who wanted to be your neighbor,
Start thinking about your income plan. If I retire, my goal is to have built enough so that I can have income and not have to worry about going to work. I have a choice whether I want to or not. So how do I look for that when I'm getting ready to retire? That's one of the biggest questions that come across my desk. Okay, this is what I've done. This is how long I've worked. I've depended upon this paycheck to provide for my needs, and now I'm fixing to forfeit that paycheck based on what I've accumulated and my Social Security check also. So how do I know I'm making the right choice? Well, consider ways on how you're going to gain that income. Have you considered yields, dividends, constant streams of income? Have you considered maybe setting some preservation aside and getting through the point in fact and waiting to draw Social Security? Or is it better to draw Social Security now and a little bit out of your 401k or IRA a little bit at a time? There's no exact answer to think about. However, this is one analogy that I particularly enjoy to use because I understand it. If I am in the growth sector, I am growing trees. They don't produce fruit. They just produce leaves and lumber. If I need income, I've got to cut that tree down. No longer is that tree available. No longer do I have that tree anymore because I cut it down. But if I'm in income, I would rather have my money more in like an apple orchard. Because when I need what I need, I go and pick an apple and it provides my needs. I don't cut that tree down, so guess what? It produces the apple again. Look at your investment mix. Are you in a tree forest or are you in an apple orchard? You say, well, I want to preserve. What would you do with that? Look at the fact of where you are in the land. What land are you using? Take a time, sit down with somebody you trust so they can talk these things out through with you. Because we don't want to go back to work. We just want to have that choice.
Good advice. I have some from time to time say to me, I hear you talking with Andrew Tisdale on Tuesday mornings on the radio, but I don't have a whole lot of money. Does he work with folks who have limited income, a limited amount of money to invest? Your answer would be?
Every dollar counts.
Every dollar counts.
Every dollar counts. I've been I'll just say this from a personal research standpoint, I've been looking at, our economy, where we are heading, and what I do see is that most of us are in this middle road called the middle class. Well, that gap is widening. And everybody says, well, I want to be in the upper class. I want to be in the wealth. How do you determine wealth? Is it a number? Is it a figure? And I'm learning more and more it's not necessarily a number. This person that has this amount may be considered wealthy but isn't. Well, this one may say, well, you don't have much, but they're very wealthy. And the reason is because they manage it well. If I don't have what I consider a lot, that don't necessarily mean I'm not worth it. It's the actual, how do I manage it? And how do I live? Do I owe anybody anything else? Can I live free and make my choices? And do I have the discipline to do so?
And a lot of money to some folks is different from a lot of money to other folks. A lot of money to Donald Trump, it's a lot of money. But a lot of money to a guy who's been investing and saving all his life, he may not have what Donald Trump's got, but he's got money. But it's a lot of money to the guy who just works by the hour. I mean, a lot of money is a different concept to different people.
Everything. And there's, again, it's just not about, it's not necessarily about how much I have, it's about what I use it for and what I can do with it. So, to answer that question, just come talk to me.
That's why you're there. Andrew Tisdale, 173 Railroad Avenue, Rutherfordton. That phone number is 828-287-9197. He'd be glad to answer any questions that you might have about your dollars. Makes sense.
Of investing.
I'll see you next week.
See
Have a good week. 8:14, we got news from here and there coming up in just a few moments, and along with the Sheriff's Report with Sheriff Francis, and we have a special guest in the studio with me at 8:30 this morning that you need to wait and find out who that's going to be.
You say hello every time you pick up your phone, but what else do you say hello to? With Bark Mobile, you can say hello to summer, to adventure, to doing what you love, because you're also saying hello to freedom, flexibility, and great deals. Like getting a free Moto G stylus when you switch for a limited time, $100 savings when you bring the device you already love, or 2 lines unlimited data for just $35 a month per line with AutoPay. Say hello to something new. It's just a phone call away with Bark Mobile. Bark Mobile, mobile made easy. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details. Visit mybarkmobile.com/terms and conditions.
Some of the stories from here and there this morning we mentioned earlier and we'll mention again throughout the day today until a young lady is found missing, a runaway juvenile. Authorities are looking for a runaway missing teenager. Savannah Dawn Hobbs, 17, left her foster home located on Bostic Sunshine Highway. She is believed to have traveled to Gaston County, where she is originally from, or to Stanley. Savannah may be in the company of her boyfriend, Tim Stevens of Gaston County. Savannah is described as a white female, 5 feet 2 inches tall, weighs about 80 pounds, with long blonde hair. If anyone has any information as to the whereabouts of Savannah Dawn Hobbs, please contact Rutherford County 911 Communications Center at 828-287-2911. She doesn't need to be out there without some supervision. Crime Stoppers, you can call that at 828-286-TIPS and help find this runaway juvenile. Other stories from here and there. The Daily Courier is reporting that the Democrats are hosting a congressional candidate forum. Rutherford County Democrat Party is hosting a meet and greet forum Thursday, September the 9th, featuring Democratic candidates for U.S. Congressional District 11. The event will begin at 6 o'clock at the Democrat headquarters, 142 West Main Street, Forest City. Rick Glasson, coordinator of the event, said, in a world of 30-second sound bites and social media overload, Rutherford County Democrats wanted to have an event where folks could hear and speak to the candidates. This event allows people to meet the candidates on a one-on-one basis and get to know them, meeting the individual as an individual. He added, this is what democracy is all about. Mark Brown, Rutherford County Democrat Party chairman, agreed. He says, quote, Rutherford County Democrats are very enthusiastic about candidates engaging in the election process so early in the 2022 cycle. We want to make sure voters have as much access to these candidates as possible, Brown said. Getting to hear directly from the candidates gives voters a chance to question them about issues that matter to them. District 11 candidates will face off at a primary election next spring. Rutherford County is currently split between Congressional District 5 and District 11. More Meet the Candidates events are planned for the future. The event will follow all the guidelines required for safety during the COVID-19 pandemic, including spacing between seats and the wearing of masks. And again, that is Thursday, September the 9th at the Democrat headquarters, downtown Forest City. Well, police say a woman and her daughter were carjacked at a Sonic restaurant Thursday in Spartanburg. According to the Spartanburg Police Department, officers were called to the area of East Main Street around 5:30 for reported carjacking incidents involving the same suspect. Investigators said the suspect attempted to steal a moped at knife point near the IHOP restaurant, but was unsuccessful. Police said the suspect then approached another person in the parking lot and unsuccessfully attempted to steal their vehicle. The suspect then ran across Main Street to the Sonic Drive-In, where he pulled a woman out of her SUV. The woman's 11-year-old daughter was able to jump out of the vehicle before the suspect drove away. The Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office was able to locate the suspect and vehicle. Police said nobody was hurt in that incident. There's no word yet on the suspect's identity or charges in that case, and they'll be updating that story as more information becomes available. Daily Courier is also reporting that a spate of vaccine clinics last week slightly improved the county's vaccination rate against COVID-19. Rutherford's vaccination rate inched up by 1% for those fully and partially vaccinated. Those fully vaccinated rose to 33% compared to those with at least one dose, to 37%, according to figures with the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. Rutherford's vaccinate numbers have been moving slowly. There are 24,684 local residents with at least one dose, while 21,923 have been fully vaccinated. Those who are 65 and older account for 9,086 fully vaccinated compared to 9,649 with at least one shot. Those 12 and older are at 21,890 with full vaccination, while 24,640 are partially vaccinated. The disparity narrows among those 18 and older, 21,269 versus 23,782. Despite the uptick, according to the Courier, Rutherford County remains near the bottom among the state's 100 counties in terms of low vaccination rates. Presently, Rutherford is tied with Gates County with those fully vaccinated, but 1% better among those partially vaccinated. Robertson County remains at the lowest with 29% and 36% respectively. COVID-19 cases have been surging among those who remain unvaccinated. The new cases have been more severe and adversely affecting younger victims than cases a year ago, according to the report. Like many areas across the state, Rutherford is undergoing substantial community spread. As of Monday, the county had 8.874 cumulative cases, 140 new cases from the weekend. After last week's spike in COVID-related deaths, there was no change as of Monday, with the death toll staying put at 232. State statistics show Rutherford is averaging 16 COVID-related hospitalizations per day, a better rate than surrounding counties. North Carolina's death toll from the virus is at 14,334, with 1.19 million cases. In the U.S., there have been 637,000 deaths among 38.9 million cases. These deaths, statistics showing North Carolina's death toll from the virus is 14,334. Doesn't say how many of those died because of COVID as opposed to dying with COVID. There's a difference, and those numbers sometimes can be misleading. A lot of folks die with underlying causes, but they also have COVID, and some folks die because of COVID. So those numbers are not always accurate as they sound. Well, as you know by now, the schools got started with a mask mandate on Monday. The mask mandate went into effect yesterday, and so far school leaders say there have not really been any compliance issues. Scott Carpenter wrote in the Daily Courier, when the new school year began, for most Rutherford County students, the wearing of masks to protect against COVID-19 was optional. Early in August, the Board of Education made that decision. But since that decision was made and throughout the first week of school, the number of COVID-19 cases and exposures has exploded, affecting students and adult staff. All the schools have extra masks as they come in the door. If they forget theirs, they will have them available at the door of the school. Everybody is expected to wear the mask. It's 8:21, the Sheriff's Report coming up here in just a moment with Sheriff Chris Francis. Bottom of the hour, have a special guest in the Blue Room, 9:05 this morning. It's My Great America with Jim and Butch, only on WCAB.
At Smith Drugs of Forest City, we are continuing to offer the COVID-19 rapid testing and the COVID-19 vaccinations. Please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591 with any questions or concerns that you may have. You may also visit our website at smithsdrugsfc.com and schedule your COVID rapid 19 test or your vaccination. Again, if you have any questions, please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591.
There are so many insurance agencies here and there, but to find a dependable agency that you can trust, that would be Maxwell B. Hamrick Insurance Agency. They are your full-service agency offering auto, business, homeowners, health, and life. Maxwell B. Hamrick is an independent insurance agent. Call them today at 286-2384. They care about their customers, and it shows. They're located at 119 Huntley Street in Spindale. Maxwell B. Hamrick Insurance Agency, serving one satisfied customer at a time.
It's 73 degrees under cloudy skies, and Sheriff Francis was with us earlier this morning via telephone to record the Sheriff's Report, and here it is. Sheriff?
In the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office has responded to 165 calls for service. There have been 13 arrests processed at the county jail. Currently incarcerated, we have 183. Among those arrests, Mackenzie Sierra Maloney, 24-year-old female of Boston, was charged with failure to appear and received a $500 secure bond. Anthony Ray Melton Jr., 37-year-old male of Ridgecrest, North Carolina, was charged with 3 counts of failure to appear and received a $31,000 secure bond. Christopher Scott Hodge, 43-year-old male of Florida City, was charged with cyber stalking, contributing to delinquency of a minor, received a $500 secure bond. William Dale Evans, 46-year-old male of Ruston, was charged with 3 counts of failure to appear, probation violation, received a $9,000 secure bond. Michael Robert Harden, 23-year-old male of Florida City, was charged with failure to appear and received a $500 secure bond. Darian Akil Brown, 20-year-old male of FRC, was charged with assault by strangulation. Will see a district court judge for bond. Robert Payne Davis, 31-year-old male of FRC, was charged with failure to comply with the release order. Received a $10,000 secure bond. David Lamont Ledbetter, 36-year-old male of Lake Lure, was charged with assault on a female. Will see a district court judge for bond today. Like our instance, we had a larceny on Old Henrietta Road in Forest City. A carry-on utility trailer valued at $1,000, displaying a tag of AH44752, was taken, and the same did have a trash can valued at $25 and two 4x8 pieces of plywood on it as well. Had a breaking in and larceny on Hogan Road. There was a black Xbox, a white Xbox, and a Super Nintendo were taken in that incident. We had a juvenile offense between a mother and a 14-year-old son on Academy Street in Morrisboro. We did contact DJJ as well as DSS to assist us in that situation. We had obtained property for false pretense and fraud, Sycamore Drive in Lake Lure. Suspect used the victim's account information to make unauthorized withdrawals in the amount of $731. We had an attempted larceny on Poors Ford Road where someone attempted to cut off the victim's catalytic converter off their vehicle. Damage was around $500, even though they weren't successful in taking it completely off. We had a larceny of a tag on Willow Lakes Drive in Ruston. Same was 473BSM, North Carolina issue. We had a breaking into a vehicle and larceny of a battery on Hudlow Road in Union Mills. Did take a Napa Auto Parts battery and damage some wiring on the harness whenever they took that out. We had a larceny on Brentwood Drive in Royston. The victim saw a white four-door truck pull up with a slim white female, blonde-headed, step out and take mail from the mailbox. We had a larceny on Hudlow Road in Forest City. A cargo craft 7x16x6 enclosed trailer valued at $4,000 was taken. Did have a flat screen TV, Samsung, and as well as a 65-inch LG TV. Some Marvel comic books and miscellaneous clothes were inside of that trailer that got missing. And Jim, that's what we have to report today.
Damages incurred, protect yourself and your family, and move beyond the stigma of being victimized. Visit ncdps.gov/4victims. That's ncdps.gov/4victims.
For 33 years, Merlefest, presented by Winter World, has delivered music, moments, and memories to thousands. Join us September 16th through the 19th and hear Sturgill Simpson, Tedeschi Trucks Fireside Live Tour, Melissa Etheridge, Mavis Staples, Margot Price, Leanne Rhymes, Johnny Swim, Shovels and Rope, We Banjos 3, The Milk Carton Kids, Balsam Range, Sam Bush, Jim Lauderdale, John Cowan, the Kruger Brothers, and more. Visit merlefest.org today for the full lineup, to volunteer, or to purchase tickets.
The displaced New Orleans Saints have begun practicing in Arlington, Texas. This following Louisiana getting hit hard by Hurricane Ida, which is now a tropical rainstorm. Saints players, staff, along with about 120 family members, relocated to North Texas in advance of the storm hitting New Orleans. Coach Sean Payton yesterday said the Saints will practice through Wednesday at AT&T Stadium, which is the home of the Cowboys. They're scheduled to open the season September 12th at home against the Packers. Payton said they don't yet know whether the Superdome and the city of New Orleans will be in shape to host an NFL game in 13 days. It's possible the game could be moved to a neutral site, but he said it's impossible to play the game in Green Bay. And as for the Superdome itself, it was saved from any damage, but the electrical grid severely damaged in New Orleans. Power still out in the entire city. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
It's going to be a hot and sticky one today with a slight chance for a few passing showers and thunderstorms. Highs will reach the mid to upper 90s. But we have a lot of deep tropical moisture in place. That's going to allow our feels-like temperatures to jump into the triple digits, especially to the south. Tomorrow, highs will be slightly cooler in the low to upper 80s, all thanks to cloud cover that's going to move in and showers and thunderstorms. Some could be strong to severe. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Thank you very much, Peter Sherwood. It is cloudy and 73 degrees on the outside. and we're under that flash flood watch until tomorrow because of Ida, ever how you want to pronounce it, coming up the coastline. It's going to be affecting maybe more of the west of us, hopefully, but we are anticipating about a 90% chance of rain tonight, 80% this afternoon, 90% tonight, and 90% again tomorrow, with new precipitation amounts from 1/4 to 1/2 of an inch possible. That's the way it looks right now. And they'll be going away from here maybe by Wednesday night, and the rest of the weekend is nice, not so hot, 83 on Thursday, 83 Friday, 84 Saturday, and 87 on Sunday. But the humidity will be up there pretty good. Again, right now, 73 degrees and cloudy. Once again, let me give you that information about the missing runaway juvenile. Authorities are looking for a runaway missing teenager. Savannah Dawn Hobbs, 17, left her foster home located on Bostic Sunshine Highway. She is believed to have traveled to Gaston County, where she is originally from, or to Stanley. Savannah may be in the company of her boyfriend, Tim Stevens of Gaston County. Savannah is described as a white female, 5 feet 2 inches tall, weighs about 80 pounds, and with long blonde hair. If anyone has information as to the whereabouts of Savannah Dawn Hobbs, please contact Rutherford County 911 Communications Center at 287-2911 or Crime Stoppers at 286-TIPS. And remember, when you call Crime Stoppers, you do not have to identify yourself, but help find this young runaway juvenile, Savannah Dawn Hobbs, if at all possible. It's 8:31. You know, Isothermal Community College is a real asset to our community over the years. They have been for many years. We've talked about them and bragged about them on this show many, many times. And they do a lot to offer a lot to a lot of people. One of the things they do is offer opportunities for folks who are interested in starting a business, they're entrepreneurs or want to help a business, expand a business, and it's a small business center. And this morning we have the director of the Small Business Center in the Blue Room with me this morning. Her name is Faye Bishop. Faye, welcome. Glad to have you here this morning. Move a little closer to the microphone there.
I'm glad to be here.
Good. We've talked a little bit in the past about the importance of the Small Business Center at Isothermal and what an asset it is to the county. You just briefly give us a background a little bit about what the office is all about. What do you do?
Well, I'm glad to do that because a lot of people hear business and they think that means if they need to pick up a check or they need a check or they need to pay, that they come to see us. And that's not what we're all about. The Small Business Center is there specifically for counseling and working with people who want to start a business and or helping an existing business. And the good thing about that is the General Assembly years ago when the community colleges started to begin to build and to grow, they decided how important small businesses were, and based on that importance, they decided that every community college in North Carolina should have a small business center. The larger ones, of course, have several on their staff. As for me, it's me, and I have a secretary who is part-time in helping me with what we do, but I work with anyone who's interested in starting, counseling them. They can go online and get a lot of information, but when you think about starting it and registering it, how much does that cost, how do you do it, where do you go, things like that, I think we're a very good resource for them. And the other thing about that is we never say, okay, we've done all we can do to help you. As long as there's a need, we continue on with them. And one of the things that our program does through the money that is funded to us is to be able to offer training for them, which we do what we call core, which is how to start, how to write a business plan, marketing, how to find your customers, how to find financing, bookkeeping aspect, and taxes. Those are called core because those are necessary for the business. And then we do other things as well, things that they ask us about, because now with technology and so many people having a business online, then there are questions they have. They want to know how to build a website and those type things. So we try as best we can to be able to help them. If we can't, we refer to a lot of other partners as well. And if it's something we can't do, then we do help them with referrals for somebody who can. Those services are free, so we just want them to take advantage of it.
In addition to, of course, giving them ideas on what they might do to get started, like a master plan or a way to get started opening the door, in addition to that, there are different training available for anybody, whether you got a small business or not. Do you have seminars that is offered to people?
We do, and the interesting thing about our seminars is because we are funded by the state and our services are free, we do advertise them as for existing and potential business owners. So does that not include everybody? Because everybody, if you've ever had a thought, if it's ever crossed your mind, if you're just interested in information to see if you want to do that, you're welcome to attend our seminars. We don't ever turn anybody away that comes. We're glad to have them there, whatever. And as long as we feel like it's beneficial to them, then we keep promoting it. And hopefully as long as people attend, we'll keep the funding. And it's hard right now because of COVID, like everybody else. We've had to pivot, so a lot of our webinars are online, which can be a good thing for people if they're home, especially have to be home with their children and work with them. As if the schools are not up and running, then it gives them a chance maybe sometime during the day to take a webinar on their own. But we're like everybody else in planning, so we have planned to have webinars. We've also planned to have seated seminars. Now, as that time approaches, which is coming up soon, our first one is actually next week, then we'll have to see. If things change because of COVID, then we'll have to pivot, and they will have to be online. It will have to be a webinar instead of in person, but right now we're looking toward that.
What are some of the seminars that they're going to be offering soon?
Well, we've got a couple of things, and of course we're starting on the 9th. We have starting a small business. And so basically that it may be even for people who have started and they've still got questions or they'd like to know more. It's also a good networking opportunity because there might be somebody there who's starting a business, might could work together. So that's a great opportunity. But
It's like a great idea for somebody who's dreaming of having their own business and don't know how to start. Seems like that'd be a great seminar.
It is, and the presenters that we have to come and present the seminars are people who own their own business. So they know what they're talking about, and they have been, a lot of them have been in other areas of business prior to owning their own business. So they're very good. And then we have that coming up on Monday, and then on the 14th, we have a webinar that's how to quickly create a Wix website that shines. So for that person who's saying, okay, I've got my small business started, I need a website. Here you go. It's 2 hours. He will walk through how that's done. And the good thing about most of our presenters is that if you attend the seminar or the webinar, and they're the ones who have taught it, then they're more than willing for you to call them with questions. So that's a positive in the same frame. We also have several webinars this year for nonprofits. And like everything else, rules change. Just like with starting a business, fees on getting your structure set up, they change. So regardless of how much you know, you also need to sometimes just recheck on what you're doing because those fees may have gone up. There may be some type of privilege license that you have to have that you did not when you got started. So it's a good idea sometimes just as a refresher to come in and sit through and see if there's something that's changed that you need to be aware of.
Seems like that would be an ideal situation. These seminars generally last about an hour, hour and a half, or two.
Well, actually, we have them that kind of run different ways. Starting a small business is a 3-hour. And the reason for that is because there's a lot in that. And people have a lot of questions about it. We have some others that run 2.5. The webinars are usually an hour and a half to 2 hours. So the seminars are a little bit longer because you're face-to-face, you have more questions, and people are more interactive than they would be necessarily on a webinar. So we want to make sure that their time is worthwhile and they feel like it was well spent.
One of the things some people would want to know right offhand, is there any homework to do?
Well, there's always homework. It's not necessarily always done. When I have someone that comes in and talks to me about starting a small business, then I give them homework. One of the things I do is say, if they haven't done it, depending on where they are in starting, is doing their research. How many other people are doing the same thing? Is there a need for another one? What's going to be your niche? And then thinking about a business plan. People don't like those because a lot of times it's because just looking at them, sometimes you look and find one that's 30 pages long and they're like, no way. But the thing about it is, if they have the information that they have in their mind of what they want to do, if they put that down on paper, they basically got their business plan. It's just a matter of putting it in a more formalized form to present. So I usually give them information on research. I give them what's called a checklist that talks about the things to do, which the first one is research, the second one is write a business plan. The third one is either get an accountant and or an attorney, depending on what you're going to need. Then you have to think about what business structure. You have to decide where you're going with that. You have to think about the name. You have to check and make sure the name's not taken. So there's I guess you could call it homework. It's not something that is going to be turned in. You're going to be graded on it. But yes, it's some things that you need to do is follow up.
I found out over the years when you have a dream of doing something, it's in your mind. You see it almost done. But when you start talking to somebody, this is what I need to do step by step by step, it sort of opens up the door of, I need to get this accomplished first. I need to find out what this is before I move on. It helps them clarify their goals before they get to the point of opening the door.
Well, it does. And the other thing is sometimes I have somebody who comes in and the first thing they say is, I'm like, hi, I understand you want to start a business. How can I help you? I need a loan for $50,000. For what? Well, I'm going to open a restaurant, or I'm going to do this, and $50,000 is what I need. And so I said, okay, well, let's look at that. And so we sit down and we start writing out how much equipment they're going to need, what approximately that might cost. We think of the rent for the building or the lease. We think about the insurance. We think about the products and things that they're going to have. And as we're writing that out, $50,000 is not going to do it. So that's where doing that research and doing that planning and looking at it and looking at some of the costs that are there, because it's very difficult to want to get a loan for a business, or a lot of people are looking for grants as well, but for startup, grants are very rare unless they're nonprofits. But if they have done their research and they have looked at it, then they can come in, and if they need that loan, when they're doing that business plan, they put that on the business plan. They need that loan of $50,000, $75,000 or whatever. And then in the body of that business plan, they have an opportunity to say this is what they're going to spend the money on. So when they go to that bank or they go to the SBA for a loan or wherever they go for that loan, then that person can look at it and see that, yes, they're wanting to borrow money, and see, yes, this looks like a good plan. And down here's the breakdown of what that money's going for. So all that business plan is basically doing is giving that individual the opportunity to work their idea. If they don't need to borrow money, their business plan is still going to change because it doesn't stay the same. But the interesting thing to me has been, somebody may come in and say, I want to start a business and I want to start off with this, but later I want to add this as a part of it. They may have 2 or 3 things they want to do. Well, if they don't put that down somewhere to look at it and they get involved in that first aspect of it, years may pass and all of a sudden that comes to mind again. Well, I think I'll add this. Well, if they'd had that in their business plan and checked it, they would have done that earlier, but they've forgotten about it. So putting their goals and where they want to be in 5 years and what they want to do is definitely a beneficial aspect for them, as well as, like I say, if they're going to borrow money, they're going to have it. Or even if they get a grant, they need a business plan.
In addition to being a director of the Small Business Center, you sound like you have plenty of information and guidance for people, but it also sounds like you're also a coach. You coach the people along as they start moving toward the goalpost.
Well, I do. I try, and once they come for the first meeting and they go out and they follow up with that, then my goal is within 30 days, if they haven't gotten back to me, is to call them, find out where they are, what I can do to help them. But as they leave from that first meeting, my response to them is, if you have a question, if there's something you can't find, if I can help you, I'm giving you my card with my number. You've got my website. You've got my email address. So let me know how I can help you, because that's what I'm here for. And so if they don't use me, then they've just lost that opportunity. And sometimes they'll call because they may talk with someone who says, well, you don't really have to have that, or you have to do this. And I don't know all the answers, but I've got a really good network. There's a small business center director at every college in North Carolina that's doing the same thing I am. And sometimes it may be my first time with that particular type of business, but somebody else has done it. So I can send that question out, that they have, if I haven't been able to find the answer. Or I can call North Carolina Commerce Department and ask them. And I've done that before. I had a lady not too long ago who in her business had a question that was relative to the IRS and an EIN number, employer identification number, and of course there's no charge for that. But the question she asked was, do I have to have that in that I'm doing this? And we looked and we couldn't find an answer that we felt like was sufficient. So I went to the IRS website, and there was an opportunity there. If you have a question, leave your question and we'll get back to you. So I sent them an email with my question, and the next day I had the answer back as to what she needed to do. So if it's questionable and we're not sure, then we always call. We go, as the old saying is when I was growing up, go to the horse's mouth, the one who should know exactly what, and do what they say.
It's good service. And the cost of these seminars?
Free.
Free of charge?
Free of charge.
What do they need to do to sign up for this next one?
Well, we have sent out information. We've sent it to different people to send out for us, and they need to register, because if they're a webinar, they have to get in to be able to get that information they need to join that webinar. So they have to register. If it's a seminar, it's a seated seminar, and they haven't registered before, they're not sure about it, call me, and I will tell you how to register, or put your name down, and you can register when you get there. But we need you to register ahead of time, because that lets us know if that presenter who's driving in from Asheville, if I have 6 people registered, then that's great. He's going to have materials for 6 people. And then it also lets us know that they plan to be there. We usually, the day prior to him coming, check with them to make sure they're coming, because we don't want him to have spent his time and drive that distance and get there and nobody be there. So it's kind of twofold on that.
Best way to get in touch with you is how?
My phone number is probably the best way, and it is an 828 number, 395-1667. That's directly to my office, and I will be the one who answers unless I've stepped out for a minute and my secretary picks up. So,
Small Business Center of Isothermal Community College doing a lot of things to help people succeed in business and get started. And when there is a question in your mind, I feel sure they have the answer. It's a good thing that Isothermal Community College continues to embrace is the Small Business Center, because small businesses make up America. That's where our economy comes from, basically, it's small businesses. The more of them that we have, the stronger our economy. Whether it's online or storefront, it's always good to have a small business right here locally.
it is, and I think it's been amazing to me how many people have actually started a business during 2020, which was such a difficult time. But some of them were able to do it because they were confined, they were at home, and they had the time that they had not had before, and it just worked out for them. And it was amazing because of what our businesses that were already established were going through. It was interesting for those to do that. And I would just like to say out there for a second, and this is just a little freebie, you may not want it necessarily, but for people out there who are at home and maybe you just would like to do something for a short period of time, maybe you would like to work, if you're able and capable of doing that, you know, right now our small businesses are hurting. Restaurants, they don't have enough help. Everywhere you look, they're looking for help. If you've got some time that your hours could be flexible enough that you could help, why not join in? It's not going to make you rich, but it certainly would help the small businesses to have some people who have some flexible time that they could work a part of that time. And I know some people say, well, I don't want to have to get into and learn all this kind of stuff. Well, that's what work is. If it was leisure, then you could be idle and not be doing anything. But I have thought many times, if getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and getting home at almost 5 o'clock is a pretty long day. And I thought, if I had enough energy, I think I'd just go see if I could help them during this time when they don't have enough help. If there's something I could do that would be beneficial for them, because it would continue to help our community and our small businesses. So if you're out there and you're looking for something and you haven't found anything and you need to know who's hiring, give me a call and I'll be glad to give you a list.
Faye Bishop, Director of the Small Business Center at Isotherma Community College, thank you for your time today, and thank you for all you do for the community.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you back again.
Thanks.
Now, I'll be back in just a moment with some more news from here and there.
It's our 30th anniversary, but you get the gifts. That's right, Carolina West Wireless is celebrating our anniversary and celebrating you in a big way with incredible savings, like $350 off a new iPhone 12, or a $150 credit when you bring in your own device. And as our special gift to you, get an additional $30 off any other device promo in our store. Stop by today and let's celebrate our 30th anniversary together. Carolina West Wireless, celebrating 30, celebrating you. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details or visit carolinawest.com/terms and conditions.
There is a lot of misleading information about Medicaid eligibility. The Arledge Law Firm would like for you to know the truth. For instance, if you need a nursing home, Medicaid will take your home. That's not true. Another one is, if you transfer assets, you have to wait 60 months to qualify. Again, not true. And this big one, if you're already in a nursing home, it's too late to protect your assets. Not true, not true, not true. Call attorneys Gerald N. Willis, Kent Baldwin, or Martin Gerard at the Arledge Law Firm and get free consultation and learn the truth. It's more likely than you think that you may qualify for nursing home care and not lose everything you own. It's worth a call to Arledge Law Firm at 287-3338, located on East Court Street in Rutherfordton.
There are plenty of drugstores in Rutherford County, but not all of them offer the same personal customer service that is offered at the Medicine Box of Rutherfordton. Laura Hodge and her team have trusted experience and professional service. You're not just a number to them, you're a friend. Make the Medicine Box of Rutherfordton your hometown drugstore at 200 Charlotte Road in Rutherfordton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 1, 287-7117.
And if you have a business outside and you're looking to expand your market, want to impress more people and raise awareness of your company, Tracy Smith is in the building, folks. She'll be glad to help you and answer all your questions about how to get that message out to a mass majority of people right here in the foothills. You can call her at 287-3356 right now, and she'll be glad to set up a time to talk with you about your advertising and your marketing. Got to run out of here in just a few moments. Got to have one story left, though, and then I get out here and make room for My Great America with Jim and Butch. We've heard a lot about mask wearers and non-wearers. Well, there's a Texas restaurant that charged non-mask wearers a higher price. If you didn't wear a mask, they charge you a higher price. On the door, it said, our new surcharge, $50. If I have to explain why masks are mandatory, $75. If you hear why you disagree. Texas restaurant, the following article, Texas restaurant that charged non-mask wearers a higher price just went bankrupt. The restaurant in Denton, Texas, that announced higher prices for customers who wouldn't wear a mask just announced that it's closing its doors forever. It's called Legends Diner there in Texas. The Legends Diner caused a national uproar last month when it posted a mask requirement for customers. Wayne Lacombe, owner of the Legends, posted a sign that told customers that they would have to pay $50 for asking why the diner wanted to require masks, and $75 if the owners had to hear the customers say they disagree. But the diner owner said that the location has lost $200,000 since 2020. You wonder why that is? Lacombe added, we're really at a disadvantage. We have to stop the bleeding. In March, Lacombe tried to claim that he was just being funny with the sign, but that there was a serious side to the incident. When we put the sign up, it was done in humor, he said, but we wanted to make sure we got our word across that we were serious about this. Kat is a retired registered nurse, so we want to make sure that everybody is safe. Lacombe found both support and opposition to his sign stunt. He said, "It's kind of hard to have respect for people that don't feel the pain you're feeling, so it is what it is." The diner will close for food service on August 29th. That's Sunday. And then open to sell its supplies, decorations, and equipments today. So, Texas restaurant that charged non-mask wearers a higher price went bankrupt. Not surprised by that story at all, are you? Not surprised by that story at all. Well, there's a whole lot more to talk about. I do want to mention, though, that high school football Friday night is coming up on Friday night. Our game of the week is Thomas Jefferson Classic Academy. And Mike Brown show starts, it started Monday, and they'll be on a consistent basis. Tar Heels are playing this weekend as well. So we got all the sports lined up for you, all right here on WCAB. So be sure to hang around with us throughout the day. It's always something different. It's not a continuous jukebox. We do have something different all the time to keep you entertained, informed, as well as hopefully, and sometimes inspired. And sometimes we may aggravate you a little bit, but we do it in love. And we'll continue carrying on. We love to hear from you. Come got a nice letter dropped off to me yesterday in support of something that was said here, and also kind of a jab too. Let's see, anything quick right here. 81% of all voters support voter ID, including 77% of black voters. New poll shows that 81% of voters in the U.S. support laws that require every voter to show a photo ID when they vote, according to Honest Elections Project Action, which conducted the survey of 1,200 registered voters in mid-July. Among those surveyed, 77% of black voters support requiring a photo ID to vote, as do 78% of Hispanic voters, 67% of Democratic voters, 97% of Republican voters, and 82% of independent voters. So a majority of the folks are asking for a voter ID. But the ones we hear from are the ones making the noise. So there you go. All right, let's make room for getting out of here now. Make room for My Great America with Jim and Butch coming up here in just a few moments.
Friends don't let friends tune to any other radio station. Good friends recommend WCAB. Shouldn't you be a good friend?
WCAB.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Nearly 20 years after the U.S.-led war on Afghanistan, U.S. troops are out of the country. They completed the largest military airlift in history, but lost 13 of their own in the ISIS strike at the airport in Kabul. ABC Chief Global Affairs Correspondent Martha Raddatz says the U.S. leaves billions of dollars in military hardware behind, as well as between 100 and 200 Americans.
In the coming days, along with those American citizens left behind, there are thousands of Afghan allies who are desperate to escape the Taliban with no clear way how to do it. This is truly a stunning ending to those 20 years of fighting the Taliban, knowing we are now leaving it back in their hands after trillions of dollars, thousands of lives. This is how it ends, leaving so many asking why.
National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan on the Americans who remain.
We got out 97 or 98% of those on the ground, and the small number who remain, we contacted repeatedly over the course of 2 weeks to come to the airport, to come to a rally point. 5,500 or more did that. The small number who remain, we are committed to getting out.
Thousands of people have gotten out of the way of the Caldor fire as it looms over South Lake Tahoe in Northern California. ABC's Kana Whitworth is covering it on the front lines.
For the remainder of this month, the State Assembly Judiciary Committee will
hold saying that spot fires have popped up in more than 1 million places. More than 1 million power customers in the path of Hurricane Ida remain without power. It could be days before it's restored. ABC's Matt Gutman is in southwest Louisiana.
Communities like this in low-lying areas have basically been turned into lakes. The only way in and out has been through high water vehicles and boats. And yesterday we saw this incredible synergy of thousands of National Guardsmen, personnel from multiple agencies, and volunteers from the Cajun Navy scooping up hundreds from places like this.
He is in La Place, Louisiana, just west of New Orleans. You're listening to ABC News.
Ad paid for by CompleteCar.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to the COVID crisis, we are announcing a low-cost extended service plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay nothing for auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay nothing for auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-549-1980. Now. Drivers who are covered by this auto protection will not have to pay for a covered repair bill again. This auto coverage is at an all-time low, much lower than what dealerships are charging. Additionally, drivers who activate this auto coverage today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and free rental car at no additional cost. Call for your free quick quote today. 800-549-1985. 800-549-1985. What do you have to lose? Again, 800-549-1985.
Confusion for 17 defendants facing charges over the riot at the Capitol on January 6th. Right now, it's unclear who will be representing them in court. Their lawyer, John Pierce, has not communicated with anyone in several days. His associates telling judges very different stories. One judge was told that Pierce was in an accident. Another was told that he is fighting COVID. Deadly lightning strike on the Jersey Shore. Jackie Verderosa was there. She says it cracked right over her head.
The lifeguard screamed, "Run!" and everybody just started running off the beach.
One young lifeguard was killed in the lightning strike. 7 more people were hurt. The beach, Berkeley Township, New Jersey, will be closed until Friday, so lifeguards there can take part in grief counseling. Some older Boeing 777s may be forced to stay on the ground until next year.
Earlier this year, a United Boeing 777 taking off out of Denver had an engine cover rip apart, raining down debris onto neighborhoods below. Since then, older Boeing 777s with a certain Pratt & Whitney engine type have been grounded. Now our affiliate, Como News in Seattle, is reporting it is unlikely the planes will fly again until 2022, as Boeing and the engine maker Pratt & Whitney are still trying to fix the flaw.
ABC's Alex Stone. The surge of the Delta variant of the coronavirus has restaurants across the country rethinking reopening plans. Places like McDonald's, which opened indoor seating areas this summer, now putting plans in place in case they have to close again. This is ABC News.
Vaccines are not enough, and accurate thermometers are essential for everyone. COVID is once again a major concern, and fever is the key symptom for both the flu and COVID. An accurate thermometer, like the Exergen temporal scanner, is essential to detect fevers early and reliably. Studies have shown that non-contact thermometers are ineffective and therefore dangerous, as they create a false sense of security. Exergen is working with a single focus to ensure that everyone who needs an accurate thermometer can purchase one. Learn more at Exergen.com.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It's going to be a hot and sticky one today with a slight chance for a few passing showers and thunderstorms. Highs will reach the mid to upper 90s. But we have a lot of deep tropical moisture in place. That's going to allow our feels-like temperatures to jump into the triple digits, especially to the south. Tomorrow, highs will be slightly cooler in the low to upper 80s, all thanks to cloud cover that's going to move in and showers and thunderstorms. Some could be strong to severe. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
It's time now for My Great America with Jim and Butch, a conversation about positive things about this great country. And now here are Jim and Butch.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of My Great America with Jim and Butch. I'm Jim, and here's Butch. Good morning, Butch.
Good morning. Yeah, Jim, you know what? I'm not sure that when we signed on to do My Great America with Jim and Butch, that you knew that there would be these short seasons where you'd have a long-distance relationship with your friend. I'm here in Virginia. I'm still getting things boxed up. We did get the last attic completely cleaned. You have no idea what it was like. Maybe you do, to crawl into that crawl space that hadn't been touched or looked at for over 30 years, and I felt like a spelunker. You know what a spelunker is?
I don't know what a spelunker is.
Okay. A spelunker is a cave exploration person.
Oh,
you know, so I felt like I was going into a cave that was like a big museum of memories. And my mother, people have been praying for her. It's become a little less sentimental, and so it's not every box now that we're uncovering memories of what I did in the second grade and a half-preserved grasshopper from some biology experiment that I did in high school. I mean, Jim, it's like we could just designate this a nonprofit, charge admission, and have people come and observe what life was like starting in the 50s when I was born.
You should do that.
It's, you know, well, I don't know. I don't think that's a real good idea. But, you know, the thing that's great is when we take hold of God in the midst of wherever he has us. And this morning early, Jim, I was remembering again the many times. By the way, it's always great to hear your voice off the air here. You and I were just talking, and you were asking how I was doing, and I said, well, I could just weep, and you could be pastoral with me. You could give me some encouragement. But you know, this morning early, I was reminded that so often, Jim, and I'm sure this is true for people who are listening or watching, so often I get in the middle of a situation, and certainly this is true for our nation even right now, get in the middle of a situation and inquiring of God, what do you want here? God, what do you want me to do, to say, becomes an afterthought. And I confessed again to the living God this morning the many times I've ridden in the battle, not inquiring what God wanted. And so as we talk about a handful of things here this morning, I just wanted to remind everyone, make Jesus worth the knowing today. Our nation certainly needs to do that. And it's in the spirit of what I was reading this morning in 2 Samuel chapter 5. Can I read a few verses here?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So 2 Samuel chapter 5, starting in verse 17, of course, King David gives us an incredible set of principles for how we should live life. He also should give encouragement to every person that feels like they've fallen off the horse. I certainly have had seasons of my life where that's been the case. But you know, the constant about David is that it says of him, God said of him, he was a man after God's own heart, which is what we all want to be. He also was someone who reflected that when he was in the midst of difficult circumstances like our great America is today, our nation is just beleaguered with so many issues and problems and challenges. We need to be like King David in 2 Samuel chapter 5, where it says, when it was talking about the war with the Philistines, when the Philistines heard that David had been anointed king over Israel, all the Philistines, the enemy, went up to look for him. But he heard about it and went down to the stronghold. That was like the citadel, the place of safety, the defensive fortifications. Now the Philistines had come and spread out for battle in the valley of Rephaim. And this is what's important, verse 19. David inquired of the Lord, saying, shall I go up against the Philistines? Will you hand them over to me? And the Lord said to David, go up, for I will certainly hand them over to you. So David came to Baal-perazim, and he defeated them there, and said, the Lord has broken through my enemies before me like a breakthrough of waters. So he named the place Baal-perazim, master of breakthroughs. It's a simple set of verses, Jim, but it's true for us personally and for the nation. David inquired of God, and with the mess we face as a nation right now, the heart and prayer of all of us needs to be, God, what would you have us do? It's so simple, Jim, but it's just, I confess, there are days where I get into the day and have not found Jesus worth the knowing, and I just repent and say, God, please help me. We need him.
Yes.
There's a hymn that says that. We need him. Lord, I need thee. Every hour I need thee.
There's an old hymn in the hymn book that we used to sing in churches. I hope some folks still do. So open my eyes that I may see glimpses of truth thou hast for me. So if we open our eyes and be aware of those kind of things that God has planned for us, I think our lives would be so much more blessed.
Jim, that is so good. You know, it's so interesting to me because you are a repository of hymnology. You've sung a lot of hymns through the years. I don't know that I've ever mentioned a hymn that you're not aware of, but that's part of your upbringing, right? You sang a lot of hymns.
Sang a lot of hymns in churches for many, many years, yes, and a lot of great messages in some old hymns, just like that one, Open My Eyes That I May See. And you've quoted some in the past on our program as well. And I just shudder to think that we're doing away with so many hymns that were written by some old great men and women of God that heard the call of God and penned these words from Scripture and from their everyday life. It is well with my soul, those kind of things.
Yeah, it's so true, Drew. And you know what? We talk about a woke revolution trying to just scrub away American history. We're talking about a woke revolution trying to scrub away values and constitutional freedoms and the like. There's also been a woke movement that has been infecting the evangelical world and the world of following Jesus as we know it, with a lot of people who say, oh, that's just too tiresome. Mm-hmm. It's too burdensome. You know, we need something that's more like gospel light. And it is just not a time for that at all, Jim. So this morning I woke up with a strong sense of resolve that you and I need to be like that drum and fife corps. That's really what My Great America with Jim and Butch is, in the spirit of Paul Harvey, in the spirit of Rush Limbaugh. We're just trying to be a Rutherford County drum and fife corps on Tuesdays and Thursdays, banging the drum and playing the fife and calling patriots to mobilize for the battle. And, Jim, it doesn't take your daily programs to articulate or elucidate the fact that we as a nation have troubling things that are at the very core of what we're all about. And that's why I'm so grateful that God's given you the stamina after all these years to get up in the morning, make that coffee strong, and get in there and let the county know this is what's really going on.
Well, thank you. I love to find stories, too, in my research every morning that sort of highlights the positive attitude of what I think America is really all about, in spite of all the negative. This story, can I share this one with you about a young boy? Mom thought her 13-year-old son was out mowing the lawn, and when she found out where he secretly snuck off to, she started bawling her eyes out. She said, You spend days, months, and years pouring your heart and soul into your kids, just praying that what you're doing to instill values, work ethic, and character into them pays off. But for Crystal June Preston, that payoff came in a way that she never would have expected from her 13-year-old son, William. William's unanticipated grand gesture came at a time when Crystal was down and out and is absolutely heart-melting. Excuse me. Crystal posted her story, and William's act of kindness for his mama quickly went viral. find out what he said. He said, I have no words right now that can express how I'm feeling at this moment. I'm in complete shock. The last couple of weeks have literally been really terrible for me with so many tears, anger, confusion, and heartache. Today I got the shock of my life. And some of you may know, she goes on to write, some of you know my son William, who is a lawn mowing, yard cleaning, monkey making machine. Well, my son had a job today that he had to go do, and so I allowed him to go, assuming it was like any other time. Well, this time it was different. William came home later and said, Mom, I bought you a car. Of course, I laughed and told him, yeah, right. He said, no, Mom, I'm so serious. I bought you a car. Come on out here and we'll have to go. At this point, confusion came over her, and she said, go where? He said, with this lady. And much to her surprise, she got to a front yard, and there is a woman standing there. And as William said, she was giving us a ride. William jumps in the car, so I'm like, okay, this is some kind of joke, right? No, but this boy had spent his lawnmower cutting money, saved it up to buy his mama a car because she didn't have one. Isn't that great?
Oh, Jim, that is so good. And you know what? In the midst of all the negativity, in the midst of the just cascade of sewage, of despair and disgust and the like, we need to really champion and highlight these not just random acts of kindness, but these even young people that have fortified commitments. It's one of the things, Jim, that has been so important in my own resurrection, if you will, from a life of despair, a life of discouragement, a life of bitterness that resulted in alcoholism. One of the things that was a strong ministry in my life after I came here and started attending my church, Word of Faith Fellowship, is I watched an inspired set of young people who weren't in all the stereotypes of millennials and those that are younger. You know, they're only selfish. They only care about themselves. I watched the classes of our Christian school and young people learn how to work hard, learn how to work selflessly, and learn how to reach out to the community. I mean, we had the opportunity once for somebody who's a local journalist whose yard was in need of some help to go in, and that group of young people did that with no expectation other than, what can we do to be the hands and feet of Jesus today? Jim, whenever that happens, we need to pour fire of encouragement on the people, like this story you just read, who are being bright lights in a dark world.
I've met many of those young people you're talking about, and they are outstandingly always focusing on helping somebody else rather than focusing on themselves. And that is a delight and inspiration to get to know them, and I love every one of them.
Well, and you know what, Jim, you've been so consistent in your love and encouragement that way. You know, in the midst of all of this cleaning and the like that I've been doing with my mother, I found this great little booklet. There are actually a couple of copies. I'm going to bring one back and put it there at WCAB. It's by a noted, he was like a theologian and a pastor named A.B. Simpson. And he wrote a little booklet called Victory Over Self. Victory over self. And, you know, it is so true when we get outside of our own world, when we get outside of our own needs, get outside of our own sadness, and reach out to a dying world around us, something incredible happens. It's like the living God can inflame in us hope in the midst of all of that. And, Jim, it doesn't have to be grandiose, does it? It's the simple acts of kindness that you so often reference on your programs that are really little candles that we're putting out there in a dark world.
And it's important that we do that because time gets by us so fast, it's hard to realize how short life really is when we start to look at it. And if we look back many years down the road and say, you know, I wish I had done that, I wish I could help my neighbor, I wish I'd done more for my parents, then sometimes it's often too late to do that. So we need to pick up right now and start doing those kind of things even today.
Exactly. And you know what, Jim? I've had the existential evidence of God doing a work in my heart is I get my mother and I put her on the couch. She's 89. She's ambulatory, but she needs shoulder surgery. She's in a lot of pain all the time. She's not a good candidate for the surgery. So with this move, if you could envision this, what I'm doing is she's sitting on her beautiful couch in the living room, and I bring box after box to her. The box gets opened up, and then I get basically the history of whatever is in that box. And, I mean, for example, there was a box that she opened, and there was a little pair, Jim, tiny little pair of leather shoes. And she got tears in her eyes, and she said, do you know what these are? And I stated the obvious. That's a pair of shoes. She said, let me tell you a story about these shoes. When your father was furloughed from the airline, and he did not have employment but was working hard to find employment, in 1959, we moved back up to Lancaster, Pennsylvania to be with my parents while he searched for a job, and there was not a lot of money. And she said, your grandmother found a pair of shoes that belonged to your Aunt Debbie. And I took those shoes, Butch, and I buffed them, and I shined them, and I made them look as nice as possible. And I brought those shoes to you because we didn't have money for new shoes. And I handed those leather shoes to you. You were 3. And I said, here are your shoes. And she said, you looked up at me and cocked your head, and you asked a question. And the question was, did those shoes cost money?
Wow.
You know what? It's story after story like that. And so I laugh with her, and there are times we weep about the hard seasons, especially with a father that was chronically ill and terminally ill for so many years. He got sick when he was 39, died when he was 61 of a genetic illness called Huntington's disease. So, it's been a time, Jim, to relive some history, but in a way that always brings us back to the same train station of consideration. And the train station of consideration is, through it all, like Andre Crouch sang, through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to trust in God. I've learned to depend upon his word. And we sing in our church, and I thank God for the mountains, and I thank God for the valleys, and I thank God for all he's brought us through. If I never had a problem, I'd never know my God could solve them, through it all. And so as a nation and as people, we have got to have a heart of gratitude, don't we?
Oh, absolutely. That's a great song you just talked about. I love that song.
Well, and he also was somebody, a lot of people don't know this, Andre Crouch was somebody who was an iconic songwriter, worked with a lot of big names in the music industry, but he suffered himself personally. And so when he wrote the song Through It All, it was a personal testimony of, God, you're the only one I can run to. And, Jim, so I have a heart of gratitude these days. I'm so looking forward to getting home. This is my family of origin, but my family is back there in Rutherford County, my church, Word of Faith Fellowship, WCAB. I miss our conversations. I wish so much, Jim, we could put a little microphone, well, mostly, put a little microphone in there to the conversations that you and Todd and Tracy and occasionally Lou, she comes in a little bit later, have. Those are so rich to me. They're absolutely precious. Although I will tell you this, when I talked to Todd this morning, I owe him a little gift because he helped out on that YouTube matter. He said to me, Jim, this is Todd now. He said to me, well, Butch, you can get me a gift. My size is 45 caliber and 9 millimeter.
I'll tell you what, next time you go on one of these trips, take Todd with you for a few days.
Okay, Jim. Okay. You know what I'll do? I'll ponder that, and then you and I will have a conversation about that on Thursday. Now, listen. Just about the time. I feel like I'm at least getting close to an intermediate level of speaking North Carolina. I'm here in Virginia, and they've got some similarities, but some differences. So I learned a couple of words. Can I share them?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. A slug.
Pluck?
You know what that is?
Pluck?
Slug. S-L-U-G.
Plug.
Slug.
No, I don't know what that is.
Slug. Okay, now in most places, Jim, the term refers to a slimy little creature you'll find when it rained a lot. Here in Virginia, a slug can also be a person prone to sleeping in and lounging around.
Slug.
For example, I slept an hour past my alarm and it felt like a slug all day. So that's one that I've heard. Here's another one. No need to be ugly. You know what that is?
No need to be ugly?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Well, it's used in certain expressions. Ugly has nothing to do with a physical appearance. Instead, it refers to being nasty, rude, or downright mean. So you say to somebody, "Okay, Butch, no need to be ugly."
Oh, yes.
Now here's another one. You know what, Jim? You actually patronize in a way that makes a person feel important. Thank you so much. Okay, here's another one that has nothing to do with snakes, but it's used as a creative way of explaining that you missed something. And it's the phrase, it was so close, if it was a snake, it would have bitten me.
Yes, I've heard that one.
You have?
I have heard that's a good North Carolina phrase also.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Well, North Carolina and Virginia have their nuance when it comes to all of this. You know, Jim, also this day in history, you know what happened today is today in 1997, Diana, Princess of Wales, died in a Paris car crash along with her companion, Dodi Fayed.
That's right.
That happened today. But, there was an interesting juxtaposition. You know what happened about 4 days from now? And they both had their memorial services around the same time. As about 4 days from now, Mother Teresa died. And I remember preaching a sermon one time where I used the lives of Princess Diana and Mother Teresa juxtaposed with each other to talk about how two lives can be lived very differently. They both ended up having a memorial service. I believe it was on the same day or one day apart from each other. And they actually knew each other, which was kind of interesting. And at one point, Mother Teresa tried to reach out to Princess Diana because she saw her as the tormented person who really didn't like the limelight that she had. But, when you look at it, what you have in the two of them is you have a life that was filled with a lot more self-focus, and you have a life that was lived in a way that was more selfless. And I knew a man, Gordon Louts, who was the first president of Prison Fellowship, which was started, of course, by Chuck Colson, who was referred to as the guy, the mean tricks guy for Richard Nixon.
Mm-hmm.
Chuck Colson, who founded Prison Fellowship. And Gordon Louts told me he met Mother Teresa over in India, and Mother Teresa, he said, was the kind of person that when you were with her, her sense of holiness and service was such that you wanted to whisper and not talk out loud. I thought that was interesting.
That is interesting. Now, she was a lady of a small stature, wasn't she?
She was a lady of small stature, and what's really interesting is that her life can be summed up as we round the home stretch here this morning for My Great America with Jim and Butch. The true lesson of Mother Teresa was to live your life on your values 24/7. Conditions should never deter one or anybody from their personal goals and mission. She said, when we live our life based on positive, biblical, time-honored, and life-giving values like integrity, charity, and compassion, we will be blessed with God's energy and fulfillment. Right up until she died, that was her cry. And you know what? This is a harrowing thing, and perhaps a little different a way for us to end the broadcast today. But it says in Scripture, teach us to number our days so we will apply our hearts to wisdom. God has not promised us tomorrow. We only have the breath that we have right now. And I was so moved when I read about the story of Princess Diana that the French firemen that showed up at the wreckage said that after Fayed was removed, he was dead. I was left with a passenger, and she spoke in English, and the last words uttered by Princess Diana were a question. My God, what happened?
Wow.
You know, we don't want to get to a place in life, Jim, where as patriots, we ask the question, what happened? Or standing before the living God, we ask the question, what happened? What we do with our time, our talent, our treasure, and what we do with the seminal question of life, have you found Jesus worth the knowing will define eternity for all of us. So this morning, in a somber sort of way, but one of encouragement, his arms are open wide. He's waiting. Find Jesus worth the knowing today. We cannot bring America back to its greatness until we let Jesus reclaim everything that's been stolen by the evil one from our own lives and hearts. So let's work together to tend to our hearts today, Jim, and as we do that, America will be great again.
God bless America.
God bless America, Jim.
See you next time, Butch.
I'll see you Thursday.
Thank you for joining us for My Great America with Jim and Butch. Join us each Tuesday and Thursday morning at 9:05 for this enlightening program on 100.9 FM and 590 AM. It's My Great America with Jim and Butch.